Hey guys, Stephanie with the Machine Gun Nest here. Today I want to talk about some great concealed carry options. This isn't, of course, I only have 6 guns here. This isn't like a comprehensive overview of every single option, but I do want to tell you some top sellers that we have that a lot of people really enjoy. So everything I have on this table, aside from this, is a 9mm. Everything here is a polymer frame, striker fired firearm. Now, a polymer frame, if you're like, I don't even know what that is. It just is what the frame is made of. It's a polymer. It's kind of like this hard plastic versus something like a steel frame, which are still great. They're a little heavier. But I'd say right now, like the prevailing popular style frame to carry is a polymer frame. It's all preference though. Now, before I even get into this, I want you to know that ultimately you want to find something that you will actually carry. It's really great to see some cool decked out gun with all the stuff on it. But if it's too large for you, if it's uncomfortable to shoot, if you're not really going to practice with it, you want to find something that you're actually going to carry, that you're actually going to practice with, something that you don't hate. And you have to find what you like. Don't just buy what your husband likes or your boyfriend or your friend or whoever. You want to find something that you actually enjoy shooting. That's why we really strongly believe in the try before you buy model. What we have here at the Machine Gun Nest, we have all of this stuff for rent. So please, I encourage you, come in, try it out. Try it even a few times and make sure you really like it before purchasing it, because we want you to be happy with your purchase so that you can protect yourself. So let's get into it. I want to talk about some of my favorite features of each of these and why it's a top seller. So right here, one of the top sellers in the entire industry as far as concealed carry goes is the Glock-43X. This is really popular because Glocks are just famous for their reliability. They come out of the box, they're going to shoot great, and they're really simple too. This is a single stack 9mm. This actually carries 10 rounds. Now, the Glock 43, when it first came out, it was a game changer in the industry because it was like, wow, this new slim 9mm single stack, and it didn't carry very many rounds. It carried like 6 rounds, which is still great. Something is better than nothing. But the Glock 43X manages to fit 10 rounds inside, so that increased capacity is huge. Now, right out of the box, the regular Glock 43X, it is not cut for an optic. If you don't know what that means, it's this. This top part is called the slide. On all of these, this top part is called the slide. Some of them will be cut. They'll literally be cut. It'll be like a little indentation where you can remove that top plate and place a red dot optic. All of these come with, it's just regular mounted iron sights on here, which means you have the 2 posts in the back, the 1 post in the front that you just align. They're great. You should still be competent with these, but the regular Glock 43X does not come with it. The Glock 43X MOS means that it is cut for an optic. So when you're purchasing, think about what you want beforehand. If you want the possibility of mounting a red dot, buy the MOS, because it'll cost you a lot of money to have to send your slide away or buy a new slide that is cut for an optic already. Now, some basic features on this. The Glocks always come with a little bit of texturing here. You can have these frames modified pretty easily, and there are a lot of places you can send them, but they come with some nice texturing on here, and they always come with some basic grooves on the slide. You'll see some grooves here on the front, and you'll see some grooves here on the back. These are not just aesthetic in nature, they serve a purpose, and if you need to grab your slide, like if your hands are sweaty and it's just completely smooth metal and your hands are even a little bit sweaty, it would be really hard to get a grip on that. So these grooves allow you to grab it easily and pull that slide back. So that's the Glock 43X. It's an awesome option. Next, some of our top sellers here. This here is the Sig P365. Now you'll notice a difference between this and this already. One, the regular P365 is a little bit smaller. Now, the magazine, it has a magazine that has a little bit of an extra lip on there, which is great. It's all about your preference if you need that little bit of extra. But you'll notice on the grip, see on this grip, on this particular model, it's straight, whereas this here has these finger grooves here. It's actually a really nice feature, especially for ladies out there, or anybody, honestly. Everybody really appreciates this feature. It's cut, it's grooved in, and on the frame here, it's kind of grooved in as well. It makes it really nice to grip. I think they really thought about ergonomics when designing this firearm. Now, the same thing, it has the mag release and it's on the side. It's in a good spot where you're not gonna accidentally bump it or drop it out without clearly intending to, and the button's kind of large, which I really like. Now, above these grooves here, you'll see the same thing you noticed over here on this Glock 43X. You'll see these grooves on the slide, here in the front, here in the back. It's really easy to rack. Popular concern is that maybe someone's hands won't be able to actually manipulate the firearm. This is actually really easy to manipulate. Now, the regular model here, which is the 365, it has a little bit of a curve in the trigger. This is all about your preference. Some people like a little bit of the curve in the trigger. Some people prefer the flat trigger, and then the X model of these comes with a flat trigger. They're both awesome. Try before you buy, see what you actually personally like. Again, this is a 9mm. With great capacity. Now, this comes with the little fiber optic front sight, makes that sight acquisition really easy, and I appreciate that it comes this way out of the box. Next, over here, we have another 365. This is within the same family of firearms. This is the 365 XL. XL means extra large. It's just a little bit larger. I want to show you a side-by-side comparison here. So you can see, this is the 365, this is the XL. You have a little bit of a longer barrel, a little longer slide here. Not by much, it looks, you know, I don't have the stats here in front of me, but it's about an inch or so. It makes a difference when you're shooting. That longer length, it doesn't make it more difficult to conceal, but it does make it a little more stable and takes away some of the snap when you're shooting. Very comfortable to shoot. Now, you'll notice that on this particular model, the trigger is flat. That's a really great feature. Me personally, I love flat triggers. This is an awesome, reliable gun to shoot. It has a really nice groove here where you can get your hand nice and high up. This is a very controllable firearm. Now, I want to show you something that I forgot to show you on all of these real quick. So this XL, you'll see this groove right here. That is if you want to mount a light to it. There are people who love a light mounted to it. There are some who just prefer not to have that, but the option is there. It's here. You'll see the option on this as well. And you'll also see it on the Glock 43X. It has that little rail in the front should you choose to mount a light. There are a lot of options as far as lights, and we'll do a whole other video on that. Next, I want to talk about another top seller. This is the Springfield Hellcat. Again, this also shoots a 9mm. You can get the regular Hellcat or you can get the Hellcat Pro. The Hellcat Pro doesn't cost a whole lot more, but it does come pre-cut with an optic. Similarly to any of these, you can get them pre-cut for an optic. It's a great feature. I will say, if it comes down to whether you're able to purchase one or not, you're balling on a budget, just get what you can. But if you can save up a little bit longer, I will say, don't cut off the possibility of wanting to shoot with a red dot in the future. I say if you can swing it, get one that's cut for an optic, because here's what it looks like. The 365 XL has this optic on it. This is an awesome hollow sun. This is the 407K. This is a phenomenal, tiny little optic that makes it just a little bit easier to get that sight picture in. So I'm a big fan of getting something that's pre-cut for an optic. Now, the Springfield Hellcat here, what you'll see is it actually comes with a little bit of texturing on the handle. I like that texturing. On my personal concealed carry, one of my most common concealed carries is my Glock 43X. I've had a lot of framework done on it by Risen Gunworks. He does beautiful work. A lot of stippling. This comes with some texturing, which I appreciate. And similarly to these SIGs, ergonomics were really taken into consideration. They have a little groove right up here and a little bit smaller of like a groove for your middle finger here. The groove on here is smooth in the front, which I like. You don't want you don't want hard texturing on the front of your finger all the time right there, especially if you're really practicing and doing a lot of rounds. So it's smooth on the SIGs. Right here, it's lightly textured, which is a nice feature. And they have some texturing right above where your thumb would go as well. It has a nice button to be able to drop the mag. And again, just like all of these, you'll see the same exact thing. You'll see these grooves, these cuts right into that top slide to make it easier for you to rack the slide. Now, the Hellcat has a little bit of different sights. So on the back, rather than having 2 dots and then the fiber optic in the front, this has the fiber optic in the front, but it's more of a U-shape rear sight. And it's nice. It makes it easy to kind of acquire that sight picture. So that front green dot is just going to sit right there inside that white U shape. It makes it really easy to get your sight picture. Now, the texturing on here is just a little bit different. Rather than have just the plain vertical cuts, they have these vertical cuts with a groove in between. I think it looks cool. And it makes it easy to grab, but all of them will get the job done. And like all the others, this has a little rail on the front. Now, being that these are all small, remember, if you do mount a light, it's going to protrude a little bit. Take that into consideration when you're buying a holster, because the holster company will need to know what kind of light you're using to properly mold your holster. But this is an awesome choice. It has more of a flat trigger. It has a little bit of that trigger safety. So it kind of has that inner piece that you have to depress before you can actually pull the entire trigger all the way back. This is a really great option. Budget friendly and reliable. I'll talk about this one last, but right here, this is another really popular option. Smith & Wesson, this is the M&P 9 Shield M2.0. This is great. So this has a lot of cool features on it too. Like a lot of Smith & Wessons, you can just tell by the way they look, right? You can tell when you're looking at a Smith & Wesson, you can tell when you're looking at a Glock, you can tell when you're looking at a Sig. It has a lot of those characteristic Smith & Wesson qualities, and you can tell right here by the grip. So this is really slim. Again, shoots a 9mm. Very slim, which makes it concealable, but the grip on it is just a little bit wider. So you're gonna wanna try this out. See how it fits your hand. It's wide, but it's still slim. I think that lets you get a good grip on it, especially a proper grip when you're wanting to have a strong grip on it, you know, especially with your right hand if you're a right-handed shooter. Now, the button on here to release the mag, it's a little bit smaller, but it protrudes a little bit, making it really easy to push, especially if you are unsure how you'll feel about a little bit of a longer grip here. So the trigger on this also has that like trigger safety built in. You can see it a little more. It's a little more prominent on this model here. It has a little bit of a rail. It has a nice trigger pull. Now you'll notice the difference on this slide. This slide has those grooves, those cuts into the back here in the front, and it has just little ones in the front. Honestly, the front ones look cool. They're important, but you're not often gonna grab it from the front. That's not how you want to train. You want to kind of grab it from the back side of it. And you'll notice that these grooves look different. While all of these are vertical, these are kind of a wavy line here. I think it's nice, but it's a little more smooth. I like personally a little bit more of an aggressive slide cut so that you can really grab it. I think your hand could slide a little bit if you're sweaty, but the grooves are good enough to get the job done. So if you really like all of these features on here, this is an excellent choice, and it has a good capacity on it too. As far as the sights on here, they're very similar to the Glock sights. It has those 2 white dots in the back and the white in the front. But again, sights on all of these regular sights are very replaceable, and there is something out there for everybody. If you want red, if you want green, if you want night sights that glow in the dark, don't get hung up on that. Don't let that be your determining quality when you're purchasing one of these firearms. Like if you prefer the sights on another one over another, don't shop for that, because that's easily changed and they're not expensive. So see how you really like the feel of the frame. Practice with it. How does it fit in your hand? Think about, how can I reasonably conceal this? Is the grip texturing too much to where it's going to snag when I'm on my clothes if I'm trying to draw? Those are things you want to think about. And then last, I want to talk about this little friend right here. This is the Bodyguard. This is the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. What makes this different from all of these here is that this shoots a 380. It's a smaller round. There are people out there who feel really strongly about which round you should be carrying. And you can look at those ballistics. You can look at all of those charts. And it's great to do. I'm not at all discouraging you from considering that. But here's what I do want you to consider because it matters. You'll notice that this firearm is significantly smaller than the others. When you're wearing a skirt, if you're wearing a dress, you know, if it's a special occasion and in your outfit, you can't find an outfit that you like where you can reasonably conceal one of these, even though these are small. Here's what I want you to think about. Yes, it's important to modify your dress so that you can conceal responsibly. That's important. Carrying a gun, it will affect many parts of your life, including how you dress. But a 380 is not some ineffective thing. It's an effective round. It's a great round to carry, and sometimes you'll want something smaller so you can have something, because something is better than nothing. Now, saying something is better than nothing almost makes this feel like, oh, it's some kind of trash round to carry. It's not. If the size of these will keep you from carrying, then pick up a 380. I mean, this is great. I mean, honestly, it could fit in your pocket. They make these little pocket holsters that slide in your pocket, and this would slide into that because you always want to have something over that trigger so that your keys, a knife, whatever you might have in your pocket won't accidentally hit that trigger. So 380s are a wonderful option. Or maybe you want to get a 9mm. Sweater weather is coming up, right? Which I'm excited about. But you want something as well. 380s typically aren't expensive. You can pick up a great one for under $500. For, you know, between $300-400, you can pick up a good 380. And this is a phenomenal option. Now, despite their size, they're not snappy to shoot. If you're shooting a 9mm out of something like this, it's still fine. It's just a little bit more snappy. That's something that you can overcome with practice, that every single one of you can do with practice. But a 380 is a really great choice. So if you are new to concealed carry and you're thinking about some options, these are the top options that we sell here at the range. There are others, of course, but these are probably our hottest sellers. They are well beloved by many. So I encourage you to come in, rent it, try it out. If you have questions, reach out to us and we would love to talk with you about what to carry. We'll see you at the range.